This episode of Checkpoint here on ENCA will be rescheduling that program for you. We take you live down to the IEC in KZN. They're giving an update on the results down there and a number of issues they've been dealing with it in the province. MEC Nomusa Dube now speaking.
Our Commissioner General Mkhwanazi, leaders and members of the political parties, the leaders and members of the observer missions, the diplomatic corps, the IEC staff, the chairperson of the Provincial House of Traditional Leadership in KwaZulu-Natal, Inkosi Yasemadungeni, our security agencies and staff of all the spheres of government and members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, we stand here today as proud citizens of KwaZulu-Natal, as well as South Africa, to testify that once again democracy has triumphed in our country. Shortly, we will bear witness to the yet another watershed moment occasion when our Honorable Premier Willis Mchunu, on behalf of us all, will receive the results marking the culmination of elections that took place in our province and the rest of our country on the 8th of May. This moment makes us really proud that we have, in fact, been admired by the nations for delivering yet another free and fair and credible elections. And this is a reputation that as a nation we have come to really venerate by synonymous with the eyes of the international community that also witnessed the hard-working Independent Electoral Commission. Despite numerous challenges, numerous glitches, the elections shown the strength and the resilience of our democracy. From our part, in the government, we salute and take our hats off the IEC team, which have substantially contributed to the evolution and the dynamic growth of the electoral democracy. The same goes to our government, led by our visionary leadership of our Honorable Premier and the leader of government business, Honorable Zikalala, as well as our Premier Willis Mchunu, who, as the election process were announced by the IEC, assembled a team of the members of the executive to assist the IEC in ensuring that it delivers successful election. The provincial government played a pivotal role in supporting the IEC in ensuring elections run smoothly. For those of you who do not know that the role of the IEC is only to administer and run the election, and government has to ensure that there is infrastructure together with the relevant logistics and the resources so as to run the credible election. This ongoing support was provided with ourselves, COCTA, as the chairperson, which included the Department of Public Works, Transport, Community Safety and Liaising, Education, Health Department, Home Affairs, Public Works, Defense, Military Veterans, Police, municipalities, and many other departments that formed the Joint Operations Center that was working to ensure that the infrastructure is all ready for elections. As the government, we had to support all the 4,885 voting districts, including 115 temporary voting stations. Our support included, in the first place, establishing the infrastructure task team, a technical team that was led by the Director General, which conducted the needs analysis and provided the technical expertise that was needed. We also had to form the district task teams that met regularly and were closely monitored to deliver timelessly in all the requirements. Our deliverables included the temporary infrastructure, such as the tents, where there was none, ensuring that ESCOM power source for the tents, including the LED lighting for the ease of the voter and the counting process. We also had to ensure that all the voting stations had the connectivity. To this end, we worked very closely with ICASA and other cell phone network providers. In some instances, temporary infrastructure to improve the connectivity was installed. We have also needed to ensure that the voters exercise their rights to secure, comfortable environment that had access to water, sanitation services, in which municipalities had done a sterling job. Through the Department of Transport and municipalities, access roads, including those that were damaged by floods, had to be attended to. And we are really grateful to all the teams that worked very hard against all odds to ensure that those roads, in particular in the south coast, as well as in the north coast, as well as in eThekwini, those roads that were inaccessible were accessible, including the last-minute intervention by the ASA-NDF in ensuring that the bridge in Mtonjaneni was ready for people to be able to access the voting station, and we are grateful for all the teamwork that we saw being given by everybody. Our province recently underwent an unfortunate incident during which we lost several lives during the thunderstorms and heavy rains, which left over 70 people dead, as well as a lot of thousands of people that were displaced. This also included ensuring that our famous station, I think this is Mrs. Masinga's favorite station, uKovukeni. And other people, when we tell them in other provinces about Kovukeni, that we had that station is the only one in the country that has to close before 4 o'clock. Otherwise, the hippos will come and they will take over the space, and you won't be able to move out of that place if you don't move before 4 o'clock. And all these logistics, the IEC had to make sure that we work hand in glove to deliver this successful election. Home Affairs officers also played a pivotal role, working tirelessly, even on the day of election, even with the displaced communities. They were able to open on a Saturday, even on the 8th. They assisted a lot of displaced people to ensure that they had their ID document. We are also aware that IEC worked extended hours and on election day to ensure that everybody had their ID, and that millions of our citizens cast their votes in conducive and safe environment. And we really wish to thank all the government departments with the leadership of our Honourable Premier. We're also proud of the role that was played by the government in supporting the IEC so that they focus on their primary role of managing elections without having to worry about the other infrastructure. So we stand here full of confidence and pride that our government at all levels played their major role in ensuring the success of our elections and in ensuring that especially all the voting stations had the infrastructure that was required. As the curtain draws to a close on this election, ushering the 6th democratic administration, we do indeed wish to thank all the role players that ensured that we had all the hands on the deck. We also want to extend our gratitude to the Justice and Crime Prevention Security Cluster that is chaired by Honorable Kaunda for the sterling role they played in making sure that the elections were without any major disturbances. And indeed, General Mkhwanazi, as well as the Minister Cele, all were there to ensure that they support in all the work that needed to be done. I know that we even had meetings on the 7th, on the 8th, ensuring that everything really was put in its place for our people to exercise their role. It was the responsibility of government to ensure that elections were held in conditions of peace and stability without any intimidation of both voters and the IEC staff. It is our view that there is no issues that cannot be resolved peacefully through talking and negotiations. We celebrate that effort to exercising the rights that nobody's rights were thwarted. Indeed, no amount of dissatisfaction should be used to justify interference with our citizens' constitutional right to vote. We also wish to express our appreciation to the leaders of political parties for their exemplary behavior throughout the campaign and the campaign period. The elections to date and all parties demonstrated leadership and maturity, and they followed all the rules and the prescript of the Electoral Code, of which they all subscribed ahead of the elections. We do wish to congratulate all the political leaders in KwaZulu-Natal for doing everything in their power to maintain a positive image of our province. During the past 3 days, we all put our differences aside and allowed peace and space for voters to exercise their democratic role. Now the people have spoken. It is the time to take off our campaigning gear and to work together across political lines in the 6th legislature of KwaZulu-Natal to fight the triple challenges of unemployment, poverty, and inequality, and grow our South Africa together. Indeed, to the IEC, Mrs. Masinga and your team, and Mr. Mosari, who had to shuttle between national and the province, and to you, Mrs. Masinga, and your team, who had to hold forth, despite the fact that we had such a large number of political parties that were contesting. It is this time for us to say we send the servants of the people to deliver new, innovative, and creative ways to solve the problems that are faced by our people. This is not going to be an easy task. However, it is not also going to be an impossible task. We really want to say on behalf of the Committee of Infrastructure, as well as the team of the JCPS cluster, we do wish to thank all the MECs for their hard work and commitments that they put, indeed led by our Honourable Premier, Willis Mchunu, and our Leader of Government Business, Honourable Zika Lala, and the rest of our official led by the DG, Mrs. DG Mkhize, who ensured that she rallies the team even on the 8th to ensure that we indeed as a government we play our role. Let us work together to grow our South Africa. Well, thank you very much once more.